Pokemon Creepypasta. So today we're going to be reading Project Eeveelution. It's not very long, so I'll try not to read super fast, and yeah. I'm not proud of this. I nearly ended the life of an innocent Pokemon. I hope one day some pure-hearted trainer will catch this Pokemon and help it reach its full potential we wanted it to have. For now, we must tell you this story. Day 1. Our studies have finally yielded fruit. I have finally found that in Surge City Bay, there's evolutionary stones that never lose their power. A diving team has been sent to the underground estuary where the stones are said to be held in a shrine. Day 2. The stones have been retrieved. We now have 8 stones of virtually limitless power. We are going to retrieve the other items from other regions. We are now developing a search team to search the waters around Cidadark Isle, where there's believed to be another shrine. We have also set out groups to find special rocks from Sinnoh and Unova. Day 2. Z's story. I don't like getting up. I want to stay asleep, but Dad said that he wanted to talk to me today. I'll just see if he forgets. Not a chance of that. Dad wakes me up. We need to talk about evolutions, he says. Great. I don't want to talk about growing up yet. I get up anyways. Dad says I'm a normal Eevee, and he's right. I'm a different color than the other Eevees. Dad says that's called being a shiny Pokemon. Mom, a Glaceon, and Dad, an Umbreon. I get into our living room, a nice finished room inside our human main house. I know this talk would come soon. I didn't want it either, but they said I needed it. I'm gonna be some lucky trainer's Pokemon someday. Dad explains that Umbreon is a dark-type evolution with high defense stats, that they have the powers of Moonlight, a poisonous spray, and other status moves. He says that Eevees become Umbreon at night if they have strong relations to their trainer, or with a Moon Shard. Mom states that Glaceon is an Ice-type evolution. Their species has a high defense and special attack, and their power include making their first stand like needles and flash freezing moisture in the air. She says that they evolve when near a special ice-covered rocks. After that, she handed me a book written in messy human language. It contained entries of all 7 evolutions. I'll start with the first, Jolteon, the lightning Pokemon, the electric evolution. They evolve through the use of a thunderstone. They have high speed and special attack, and their arsenal techniques include thunder, pin missile, and many others. They gain powers by breathing in negative ions, and they tend to make their first hit on the ends to be as sharp as needles. Hey, just like Mom. Vaporeon, the bubble jet Pokemon. They evolve via the use of Water Stone and have a high hit points and high special attack. Their move pool includes Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Acid Armor, and more. They can disappear to the water, making them near invisible underwater. They are commonly mistaken for mermaids. I have the strangest sensation to check my water before I drink it next time. Flareon, the flame Pokemon, and they evolve through exposure to a Firestone. They have a very strong attack and special defense, and they have an internal flame stack that can make their body as hot as 1650 degrees, and use moves such as Flamethrower and Fire Fang. Now that's on fire. Well, I went through all the evolutions, and they all have their strong points. Evolution will be a hard choice. I decided to just rest. Then the next day. Day 3. I got out of the car, and Professor Fur looks at me worrying. Are you sure that shiny Eevee will be okay? He asked. Of course, I replied. We're not Team Rocket. We want to perform these experiments to better understand our evolution. Make sure our experiments are humane for Pokemon. Professor Fur looked worried, so we agreed that he would watch all the experiments. We found the shiny Eevee playing with its friends. Professor Fur got into a Pokeball, and after driving to the lab to making sure it felt safe, we knocked it out using a painless serum. The team hadn't gotten all the stones yet, but we extracted shards of the stones we still had. We had found out that Eevee and every evolution of Eevee had their spine down through their body into their tail. We implanted the shards of the water, fire, and stone into the small Pokemon's spinal column base. Day 4, Z's story. I can't remember much, but I think the scientists are okay. I'm back with my family, and I'm just lying around. The scientists are returning tomorrow, according to my parents. When they came back, they brought me to the lab. Well, Eevee, you deserve to know why you're here. We are experimenting with devolution, or the process of de-evolving Pokemon. De-evolution? That's unheard of. I wonder what will happen. Now, Eevee, you are the perfect for this experiment. We've already implanted parts of the evolutionary stones in your spine. Now we will alter your DNA to allow you to de-evolve at will, he said. But before moving this further to understanding of our evolution, do you wish to continue? I thought about it. I finally nodded my head. I thought that this could help both Pokemon and people. The scientist smiled and he picked me up and put me to sleep. Day 4. The fourth day was mostly monitoring Eevee's DNA changes. Everything went smoothly. We gave the Eevee the ability to evolve at will and the ability to remember moves its evolved forms know, when it evolved into Vaporeon and new Hydro Pump, Acid Armor, and others. We were incomplete because we needed to study the Eevee's genome more. Afterwards, we planned to add the other four evolutions and give it the power from one evolution to another. Day 5. We got Eevee again. The shiny Eevee was looking much like a teenager who was dragged out of bed on a Monday morning, and we started testing for battle today. Okay, Eevee, we want you to focus on becoming a Flareon. If genetics works, you should be able to transform with no trouble at all. I saw Eevee close its eyes, and he started to glow and turn into a Flareon. I was overjoyed that nothing went wrong, and this was a success beyond anything. Day 5, Z Story. I focused on becoming a Flareon. I started to glow as my body temperature shot up, and I felt warm blankets of fire around me. Then came the immediately change in major thoughts. I felt the most irresistible surge of cockiness, and I felt like I could crush any foe in my path, and I immediately wanted to fight someone. The scientist pointed at a target he said I could test out my new attacks with. I tried Giga Impact, Flamethrower, and Fire Fang. Now focus on becoming Eevee again. I did so. The new body was nice and all, but I did like being Eevee. I focused and became an Eevee again, and I was back as myself. Then I was told to become a Vaporeon, and as a Vaporeon I was incredibly calm and went back to normal thoughts, yet much calmer. I wanted to rest for a while, but I used Hydro Pump and Acid Armor and even jumped into a pool. I was really liking being in the water. Jotun was a lot like Flareon, but instead very hyper. I blasted the target with Pin Missile and Thunderbolt. I even tested my speed. I was very fast as I expected, and I de-evolved into an Eevee. You surpassed our expectations. Here, have a Pokeblock. He threw me a Pokeblock, and I happily ate it. Now go rest, and we'll go do some more testing done later. Days 6 to 20. These days were filled with more than testing. We have greatly decoded the EV genome. DNA change due to the radiation, and each evolution will stay similar regardless how it changes. So every evolution genetically similar to Eevee. The Sun Shard, Moon Shard, Icy Rock, and Mossy Rock have arrived, and we have implanted them into Eevee's spine. Tests have still succeeded results, and Eevee still cooperated with us. We are thankful, as we don't think a normal Eevee would be able to get the results this good, and the chances of Pokemon being born shiny is a 1 in 8,182 chance. We even have new data on shiny Pokemon, and that shiniest is linked to the stats totals, but not in every shiny Pokemon. We even got Eevee changed into different evolutions without going back to the Eevee. He learned to transform in the middle of battle. Day 6 to 20, Z Story. These were very eventful days indeed. I evolved into the Zen and Adept Espeon and used my massive psychic powers and solar abilities to get it around quite nicely. I could easily get through a total dark maze as Umbreon, and my defenses were as hard as rock. As Leafeon, I enjoyed the fact of breathing was far simpler, and my ears were super sharp. And Glaceon was really useful when it was a hot day. Day 21, Z Story. This day started the same. I got up, went to the lab, and the scientist greeted me. But then strange things started to happen that day. I was 1 second a Flareon, then I was a Vaporeon. I didn't remember changing. Then another time I was Glaceon, then Espeon. I kept cycling through the evolution subconsciously, so I decided to become Eevee. What are you doing? Evolve into Flareon, something said in a harsh and angry voice. I looked around, and no one was there. Even if someone was there, it wasn't anyone I met in the lab, and I knew the staff by name, face, voice, and scent. I then ran into the hall, and I wanted to feel safer, but whatever was tormenting me was intending something else. Don't listen to him. Evolve into Vaporeon and stay that way, said a much calmer voice. No, evolve into a Jolteon, an aggressive and energetic voice said. Evolve into Espeon, we will rule our psychic powers, a calm yet intellectual voice said. I'll tell you once, become an Umbreon, a dominating voice said. Leafeon should be your choice, young Eevee, a not unlike wind was going through leaves, said. Glaceon, now. I realized that the horror of these voices were the voices of evolutions. I was no longer in my own body. I was now at the mercy of 7 consciousness raging up for control. I started going through evolutions uncontrollably as 7 voices in my head raged for dominance. Out of my head! Out of my head! Out of my head! I screamed in Pokemon. I raged in pain as I felt 7 blades had snuffed out of my very being. The last I saw was the head of a scientist grabbing a needle. Day 21. I heard screaming and all his machines pick up on an energy flux. The entire team came to see it. Poor Eevee was now uncontrollably going between evolutions. I grabbed a syringe filled with high-strength knockout serum, and I fought against the energy waves and got the serum close to Eevee. Syringe close to Eevee. The rapid evolutions was turning the air around the poor Pokemon into plasma, and the light was blinding me. I injected the serum into Eevee and burning my hand in the process. Eevee fell down unconscious. We immediately went to work to find out what was happening. We found out that Eevee had developed severe multiple personality disorder due to varying behaviors of evolutions. We did one last thing to Eevee. We erased all the memories it had in order of the ordeal over the past few weeks it made so it would forget all about the memories it had to become an evolution and de-evolved. We shut down the lab and told Professor Fur that it was impossible to remove the shards from Eevee's spine. We said that if Eevee ever regained its memory, it would either go insane or maybe, just maybe, if a pure-hearted trainer owned it, and Eevee's mind overcame the 7 other minds, it might just be able to use its powers for the extent we want it to. I monitored Eevee from time to time through Professor Fur. The little Pokemon has recovered. I regret becoming a scientist to an extent. Why is it a scientist's job to find out what can't be explained? But some things, like what life truly is, shouldn't be fully understood. Years later, I received word from Professor Fur that he gave the Eevee to a trainer. He has faith. I have faith. I hope that I get to see Eevee again, and I hope to see that he could truly become what we wanted him to be. The next entry took place later, according to the text. I saw Eevee with the trainer yesterday, and Eevee looked so happy. We talked for a while. He said that he was from Topsoil Town, and he said his name was... The trainer holding the journal dropped it, as his loyal Eevee went over it and read the name. Damn, you're gonna leave me in suspense like that? Wow. Rude. How dare you leave me in suspense like that? But yeah, that is the ending of this one. The concept of an Eevee being able to transform into every evolution, I think is pretty cool. That would be like, I feel like doing that should be like, I feel like it should be a part of something, you know? Because instead of having to get all the stones and like do all the like other shit to get all the other evolutions, I feel like there should be some kind of ability or some kind of thing in Pokemon where Eevee has that chance to turn into all 8 evolutions. I don't know. I think that'd be a pretty cool concept. Because then it's just like you don't have to go through trouble to find all these stones and have to pick what evolution you want, you know? Because I love every Eevee evolution, so it's just like I never know who I want to pick, you know, because I don't have a favorite, you know, because I love all of them. So it's just like, why not have an Eevee that would do it all, you know? I don't know. I think the concept is pretty cool. I might turn it into a story, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, that's the ending of this one. Hope you enjoyed. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit the bell so you're notified when we videos, which is every Wednesday. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.